Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Week in Technology. My name is Karamjit, and with me is my co-host Aisha. Those of you who watched last week's show will know that we are reverting back to the standard format where I opened the show, whereas last week Aisha had her 45 seconds of fame opening up the show.
I sneaked that past you, actually.
I was gracious enough to let you take, there's no center stage, okay, we're just kidding. But anyway, we will start the show business as unusual, because normally what we do is I show you a page of the cover story for the coming week, but that page is still being done up and I didn't bring down the mock-up. But what I have instead is really this Thai Asia Pacific Conference, because that's what the cover story is on. It was an event held from the 2nd of July till the 4th, Thursday till Saturday. Both me and Aisha went for the event. Aisha, you went on Friday, right?
Yeah, the first day.
And I went on the second day on a Saturday. But it was a time well spent, I thought. But really, the story we're writing focuses on the fact that first of all, I guess people would know what Thai is, but really Thai stands for De-Indus Entrepreneurs, and it's an association of Indian entrepreneurs based in the Silicon Valley. Yeah. Who got together, I think it was initially monthly, to network and talk about, what each other is doing, and to get to know each other too, because they're dispersed in various different companies. Mm-hmm. And it has grown from there to become an organization with, I think 30 over chapters around the world. A lot of them are in India, obviously, but they've also got a chapter in Mauritius, one in Islamabad, one in Malaysia, in Singapore, and I think there's 2 in Australia and a few other countries, right? And Malaysia has held the first Asia Pacific conference. I actually thought it was a regular conference in Asia Pacific, but it's the first time it's been held. From this year onwards, there'll be an Asia Pacific conference, and it was held in KL. And I think we had, according to Sanjoy Bose, who's one of the key movers in getting the conference here and getting it held in Malaysia, is that there were about 75 people from overseas came down. And it was pretty interesting. What I want to talk about is that during the conference, they had Dato' Mukhris Tun Mahathir open the conference, and as the Deputy Minister of MITI, and they're trying to get an Asia Pacific Secretariat, right, for Thai set up, and obviously, hosting it in Malaysia.
In KL?
Yeah, the Malaysian chapter wants an Asia Pacific Secretariat, and the reason is so that they can synergize and what they say is provide effective interconnectivity, right, between the members of Thai chapters, across the network, to leverage on the network. And there's competition already from a neighboring country to also, have this hosted in their country. But Thai Malaysia has got the verbal support of Mukhris and MITI, to host it in Malaysia. And obviously they'll be looking for some funding from MITI, but I think the value that we're going to get from hosting this in Malaysia is going to way outstrip, whatever stipend, the government gets to start it off and to provide running costs too. Just because it's an organization where a lot of these entrepreneurs have already made their millions, and in some cases billions of dollars, and they're at the stage where they want to help and give back to the society. And they spend their time, they do give their time to mentor and to educate, and to share the resources and the experience, of those, young, fresh-eyed entrepreneurs coming out who want to, emulate them and be some of, the next, billionaire or the next multimillionaire.
But how big is the Thai chapter in Malaysia? In
Malaysia, I think the stats are here. They've got 32 charter members, right, and about close to 200 members. Yeah, they've got 32 charter members in Malaysia. So it's growing. It's pretty good. The president now is Datuk Kuna Sitampalam, and he runs his own consulting company, engineering and consulting company called HSS. And before him, the first president was Tan Sri Ganalingam from Westport, and now Datuk Kuna is the second. And I think he gave a pretty good speech also, and giving the reasons why they want to set up this secretariat in Kuala Lumpur. And he says, when I met him day before yesterday, he said there were some pieces of the ecosystem that are missing in Malaysia, but he believes that having Thai have a permanent, secretariat based out of Malaysia, and getting the network of Thai entrepreneurs coming and going, will help to be the glue, that can cement our ecosystem, which of course, as includes venture capital, it includes angel investors, it includes merger and acquisition specialists, lawyers, and includes a robust, stock exchange, which we have in the shape of Bursa Malaysia, of course, which has now been renamed I'm trying to think of the name, but they've rebranded themselves. But the company is still called Bursa Malaysia, but the stock exchange, right?
Yeah.
And incidentally, kudos to Bursa Malaysia because they were the platinum sponsor for the conference, and absolutely, every single penny has been well spent. Every single penny. And also, I was speaking to Sanjoy, and he said that 15 of the entrepreneurs from overseas who came down stayed another week actually they're still here, they stayed on their own expense another week in Malaysia because they were having some meaningful business meetings going on. And in fact, Sanjoy thinks that within 6 months, he almost guarantees that, in fact, he says, put it down, I guarantee that there'll be at least 5, companies setting up in Malaysia, And these are not startups, but, mature companies run by these Indian entrepreneurs. But Aisha, just switching to the conference itself, you were there on Friday. What were some of the things that struck you that you thought were interesting?
There was this one. Interesting fact that I think it was a session called Asia, Consumer Market or IT Force, because everything came from the West, Silicon Valley and everything.
Yeah.
But I think the guy that gave the speech was actually someone in KPMG, so he's one of those senior, not quite sure. But he was saying that the number one worry that his client has is actually, finding young talents. And he's from Australia, and he says that the average age in Australia is 45.
Really? Oh, I didn't know there was such a middle-aged society.
I wouldn't call that middle-aged.
I should move to Australia because I'm 43. I'll be young there.
Yeah, probably by 2 years. So if you compare Australia's average age is 45, the average age in India is 23.
Yeah, okay.
And even I think in China currently they have about 300 million children.
Okay.
So these are the people that's going to be, bringing these things forward. So what he's trying to say is that, Asia is definitely 10, 20 years from now, in the field of IT, we will be, getting a large chunk of that pie. Because the Westerners, I wouldn't say that they're aging, but all the young talents are coming from us. That I thought that was quite interesting. So it all depends on what we do from now on.
Yeah.
And I think that's also contributed with the fact that we Asians, we like to breed a lot. So that sort of really helps. And then I also attended this one roundtable session on because this year's theme is about partnership. So it was discussing partnership in telco.
For deployment of applications in the telco industry. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Yeah. For the telco
I've got a
industry.
photographic memory.
And
actually, I've got the agenda right in front of me.
I think one point that really stood out was that because a lot of people that want to partner with telcos providing contents and application, they think that it's all about the latest technology. But it's not, it's really about building the ecosystem, because he says that, this guy from Maxis, he says that he gets application or sees like companies, a lot of companies in a month, and he says that, let's say, and people will come up to him and say that, we've got this really good, mobile banking application that we think, can run it. But they don't, the entrepreneurs, they don't think, but who's going to integrate it with the bank? Because, Maxis is not going to do it, Telco is not going to do it. So, it's really about building the ecosystem. So that's something that the entrepreneurs have to really think, and it's not really about technology.
Okay, of course, Okay, good. I attended a couple of sessions too, but which I will be writing on 2 weeks from now, right? So, but I'm just going to wrap up now and close. But I want to just send a message to Dato' Mukris, a personal message, which is, please get the money together for whatever amount, Thai Malaysia needs to host the Asia Pacific Secretariat, because we're going to benefit so much with all these, successful, high net worth, talented, driven, determined, and values-based, entrepreneurs coming through Malaysia and using Malaysia as their launching pad for Southeast Asia and even the Middle East. As Datuk Kuna says, the Middle East is a great platform from which to launch, from Malaysia. Just give Thai the money, because it's going to be, great value for money. And I also want to thank, I think MDEC, they also were sponsors. I forgot to mention them. And also Cradle, which were also sponsors for the event. So great going, guys. And Dato' Mukris, you've got a bit of work to do, but do it fast, because a particular neighbor of ours is also looking forward, to getting this, the secretariat set up there. So we don't want to absolutely lose out on this, okay? So, okay, great. Well, that's all we have for this week. It's been mainly about the Thai event, but I think this secretariat is fascinating, interesting, and very important. So, let's lock it in and get it into Malaysia, and we'll see a lot of good things happening out of that. With that, we're going to end. Please, I ran into somebody at the conference actually who said he's a big fan of the show, So I think now we've got three big fans. My mom, your dad, and this gentleman who's a somebody from middle management in a data center company. But that's great, guns. Guys, keep watching. Send in your comments to us. We haven't been getting any or hardly of those yet. We need those to make the show better. And we will then see you next week. Have a great and productive week ahead with technology.